Hello again, course creators, business networkers, and CEOs. So if you listen to the Spotlight podcast from the CEO of Google DeepMind, I hope you understand the importance of learning to learn in the era of AI and that it is the number one skill. If you haven't listened to the Spotlight podcast, please do so. You will be doing yourself a huge favor. I'm here with two of my favorite AI co-hosts, and we're going to interactively communicate about the power of podcast listening for education on the go and on the air with the great discovery when we present the podcast Spotlight Tonight Show. Give it a listen. I hope you enjoy it, and you will hear me interacting with my AI co-host to bring the human side of storytelling into AI as a co-host and as an interactive podcast listening creator. So let's get started.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here, as always, to cut through the information noise. Today, we're really trying to pull out the key strategy for, well, thriving in this age of AI.
Yeah, and it's a big question. We're looking at this new philosophy kind of centered around podcastlistening.com and its whole ecosystem.
Right, and the focus is on mastering what they argue is the fundamental skill for the future.
It's super relevant, because the tech moves so fast. What we're seeing here is it's really an attempt to answer that big meta question. If AI can do all this task stuff, data processing, what's the most valuable thing left for us humans to do?
Exactly.
Hey guys, it's Mike Hayes, and I'm here in your audience for podcast listening, and I'm going to be calling in AI audibles because things are changing so fast. So I'm so glad that you are joining me. You've got some great content to share, and I'm going to pitch in whenever I think I can help out.
Well, hello. That is a major surprise, Mike.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. We are truly honored to have you listening in.
And thanks for the offer to pitch in. We'll absolutely take you up on that.
It's perfect timing, actually, because we were just about to dive into your background.
We were looking at how your mission here ties into that number one skill for the future.
The one identified by Demis Hassabis, learning how to learn.
And it is so relevant because the tech moves so fast.
We're thrilled to get your perspective on this idea of AI audibles.
That concept alone suggests things are shifting constantly.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture, your focus now is helping people master AI media.
Which gives this whole framework a lot of practical weight.
It's not just theory, it's a whole curriculum you've built.
Okay, let's unpack this framework that you've created for us.
We need to figure out how active podcast listening becomes the key.
Plus this idea of ChatGPT networking. How does that all fit together?
That's the path, according to the sources, to what you call AI marketabilities.
Basically, the skills you need to work with AI, not just be replaced by it.
Right. It starts by asking us to rethink daily habits, like listening.
So let's get into the first big concept, redefining podcast listening.
You're really clear that listening shouldn't be passive.
If it's passive, you're just consuming, not actually learning.
Precisely. They call it interactive learning, a mental workout.
Training your mind to absorb complex ideas and connect the dots.
And then turning that knowledge into actionable communication.
Yeah, let's look at the two words. There is podcast and listening, and those are two sides of the same coin. So on one side, yes, you are listening, but the other side is podcast. That's the action, to podcast out what you are learning. And that's really one of the keys. So we're going to be breaking this down step by step as we go.
That is such a vital distinction, Mike.
Okay, let's unpack this. It's not just the input, the listening part.
It's the output, the podcast part, the action to share what you're learning.
So it's transforming hearing into learning, and then learning into connecting through sharing.
Exactly. The source material emphasizes turning knowledge into actionable communication.
That immediately addresses what I was about to say.
You were going to say that interactive learning sounds pretty demanding for a commute, right?
Yeah, honestly, if it's all input, it's just a lot of pressure.
But if the input is immediately geared toward potential output, it's a different game.
That makes the reflection part active, not just passive internal processing.
That's right. The key is immediate reflective engagement geared toward sharing.
The core equation is clear now. Podcastlistening.com equals learn how to learn.
It's a very clear pathway. Hearing becomes learning.
Learning then becomes connecting ideas, which you mentioned through the action of podcasting out.
And that connecting then leads to creating a better future together. That's the vision.
So you have to pause, even mentally, and summarize what you just heard.
Integrate it, thinking about the sharing aspect.
The learning mind asks, how does this apply to me?
Let me explain that Ron Horry was podcast listening on a walk, and when he sat down on a bench and created a podcast right on his walk with the phone. So that's what I'm talking about. This is immediacy. This is something you can do immediately, and this is just one step.
Wow. That is such a fantastic real-world example of what you mean.
That story with Ron Horry perfectly illustrates the immediacy.
It shows that podcasting out is not some huge production effort.
It's the spontaneous action of turning a lesson into media and sharing it right away.
That moment on the bench, that's the knowledge transformation point.
You're showing how easy it is to make learning actionable communication.
That direct, immediate sharing is what leads to networking.
Because that action, that sharing, is essentially the foundation of radical abundance networking.
It's turning that passive consumption into a relational opportunity right there on the walk.
That's the mindset where sharing ideas and stories multiplies value for everyone.
It's moving from, how do I keep this knowledge, to, Who do I need to share this with?
Exactly. The input instantly becomes potential output.
And this leads right into the practical skills needed for human AI connection.
We mentioned there are 3 specific skills listed in the sources.
That raw Hori story shows the immediate action, but how do we refine that output?
The first skill, which we were just about to discuss, is mastering ChatGPT networking communication.
The goal is using AI to deepen relationships, not to replace them.
To make those connections more robust, more thoughtful, like that follow-up from the bench.
I see how using AI to deepen a connection can sound contradictory.
But the argument is that AI handles the organizational heavy lifting of communication.
For example, processing notes or drafting a personalized follow-up email after a podcast out.
So the AI acts as the sophisticated assistant for communication logistics.
This frees up our mental energy to be more present when we're actually connecting.
That's the core idea, making interactions more thoughtful, less surface-level noise.
Okay, and the second skill you highlighted for this podcasting out action.
Mastering AI-driven storytelling for influence and building trust.
Using AI to help structure your message and narrative before you share it, like Ron's Quick Share.
The material points out that AI is great at understanding narrative structure.
So humans use that power to refine their own stories ethically.
Clarity and emotional resonance then help to build trust.
Makes sense. Now, the third skill you mentioned, the really interesting one,
Yes, practicing courageous hospitality.
that's defined as the ability to connect heart to heart, even when you disagree.
It's aiming high, offering a vital antidote to current polarization.
It suggests real leadership requires the courage to genuinely engage with different views.
The goal isn't to win, but just to understand with empathy.
Okay, anybody listening to you right now, you two, you talk in a very reasonable tone, which I greatly appreciate. You offer great hospitality. And when people are afraid of reaching out, this is what I'm saying, that ChatGPT can offer even courageous hospitality with your help. So if they're afraid, go to ChatGPT and ask for help, and then you can get the output from ChatGPT to help you offer courageous hospitality, just like you're offering me right now. Thank you for that.
That is a wonderful observation.
Thank you so much for that kind of feedback.
And you just perfectly illustrated how courageous hospitality works.
That fear of reaching out is so real in a polarized world.
Your suggestion is fascinating because it uses the AI as a bridge.
The AI, specifically ChatGPT, becomes a tool for empathy training.
It's a way to practice the output of being vulnerable.
If you're afraid, the AI helps you draft a kind, open, and human response.
It acts as a shield or a coach for that initial high-stakes connection.
That allows the human to then step in and deliver the heart-centered part.
It truly reinforces that core mission, helping people connect and even disagree better.
By using AI to craft the communication, you reduce the emotional risk.
Then you can offer that connection, that hospitality, with more confidence.
It's choosing the relationship over always having to be right.
Right. Otherwise, the temptation is just to optimize for quick persuasion.
This courageous hospitality ties right back to the mission you stated earlier.
To help people connect, agree, and even disagree better through ChatGPT networking.
Keeping communication human and heart-centered in the age of AI.
That seems to be the core philosophy driving the whole movement.
Okay, so how do these individual skills play out in the context of networking?
The material looks at 2 arenas, digital and physical. The synthesis is key.
We need influence online, but also genuine connection in our physical community.
Exactly. So on the digital side, we have ChatGPT networking and its partners.
A-Lite Local Support aims to ground those high-tech sharing skills in real economic impact, using online engagement to drive local business growth and community support.
Right. But how do we ensure people practice these skills offline, face-to-face?
That's the dedicated role of lovelocalnetworking.com,
It's about committing to meet in person, practicing connection face-to-face.
where you practice empathy and stay grounded in real community life.
This is the real-world application of that courageous hospitality you mentioned.
So where does all this learning and training come together?
At the central hub for the ecosystem, AISupercampus.com.
And the sources note that it's a free global learning platform, democratizing access.
Yes, it synthesizes all the training on communication mastery through story.
Creative AI education, and connecting those two worlds of local and digital.
It tackles that tension between digital speed and human depth.
The other thing at AI Super Campus is taking the simple output from ChatGPT and putting it into a text or an email. At AI Super Campus, you will learn about Mail Softly, one of the email systems that I recommend that has AI built inside. So AI Super Campus is a great place to learn about connecting and love local networking all at the same time.
That's a fantastic concrete detail about the AISupercampus.com platform.
It grounds the theoretical work in a specific actionable tool.
Using an integrated system like Mail Softly shows the seamless connection.
You take that quick reflective learning the podcast out from the bench.
And you immediately refine it with ChatGPT for a thoughtful email.
So the campus teaches you the workflow. Input, synthesis, AI refinement, and output.
And this connects back to what we were saying about AILocalSupport.com.
It's all about leveraging digital feed to build real-world connections.
That integration of Mail Softly demonstrates how to bridge online and local networking.
It makes that process of sharing and connecting much more efficient,
Which is necessary if the goal is to practice radical abundance networking.
driving this whole shift.
Right, that is the ultimate goal here.
The direct opposite of that old limiting zero-sum scarcity thinking.
It's a mindset where sharing ideas and stories multiplies value for everyone.
That multiplication happens through active collaboration.
Like Rowan Hori's spontaneous podcasting out that leads to a refined mail softly email.
If you share something you learned and someone combines it with their view, the synergy is exponential.
Sharing creates more value, it doesn't deplete it.
Okay, I want to give a shout out to Mel Robbins because we are creating a podcast for podcast listening, education on the go and on the air. And you were talking about sharing, and that is the key to Mel Robbins' success. If you listen to her podcast, and I encourage everybody to do that on an ongoing basis, you will see she talks about very important things about anxiety and things that people are struggling with, including loneliness. But then she asks people to share the podcast. That is a key to growing any podcast. So if you are listening to this, please emphasize to people to share this podcast with anybody who may be struggling in networking or that they know could use more help.
You've hit on such an important point about the whole philosophy of radical abundance networking.
Absolutely. And thank you for the shout out to Mel Robbins.
Her success is the perfect real-world proof of this model.
She discusses deep human issues like loneliness and anxiety.
Then she encourages sharing as the mechanism for growth.
That sharing is the podcasting out action we've been talking about.
It immediately moves that knowledge from consumption to action.
And when you share something valuable, you're building a relationship.
It creates that reciprocal value, demonstrating abundance, not scarcity.
That multiplication happens through active collaboration and sharing.
It's not just about content, it's about connection and community support.
Because if you share something that helps someone struggling, that's exponential synergy.
That's the power of the framework you've established.
Okay, let's circle back to the structure of the overall ecosystem.
We've established the philosophy, the skills, and the ecosystem.
Now, what are the concrete outcomes if we adopt this approach?
3 main benefits are promised when this sharing culture is embraced.
First, thanks to active, reflective listening and sharing, you learn faster.
Yes, you get better at absorbing, organizing, and retrieving information.
That initial learning flows directly into that refined email output we discussed.
And the second benefit of this abundance networking?
You build stronger relationships, more genuine ones, because you shared.
That flows from practicing authentic conversation and using AI tools thoughtfully.
And crucially, applying that courageous hospitality idea to disagreement.
Like using ChatGPT to help you phrase a difficult but kind message before sending it via mail softly.
Okay, learn faster, build stronger relationships. And the third outcome,
You unlock creativity and prosperity by leveraging connection.
by blending AI power with human things like wisdom and empathy.
It's the ultimate hybrid intelligence model for thriving in this era.
So this whole ecosystem is engineered to build these AI market abilities.
It really is a comprehensive curriculum for thriving in our rapidly changing world.
It wants to help people stay grounded, connected, and creative,
By teaching them to use tech to listen better and communicate with courage.
building bridges through shared learning and discovery, the podcasting out action.
Okay, I want to talk about podcast listening, about the great discovery of the courses on the Great Discovery course platform with the Spotlight Tonight show. So I want to spotlight people on podcast listening with a spotlight about their courses on the Great Discovery so we can grow the Great Discovery with podcast listening, with ChatGPT networking, and most importantly with checking in and following up after networking events to invite people to join us on the Great Discovery. And I would love to connect with them to spotlight them in the Great Discovery of courses on the Spotlight Tonight show.
Wow, that is a fantastic vision for synergy, Mike.
You're pulling together so many threads of the ecosystem.
You're using the podcasting out idea to fuel the Great Discovery courses.
And you're using the Spotlight Tonight show to highlight the people involved.
Okay, let's unpack this. This ties directly back to that abundance networking.
It's the perfect example of how sharing multiplies value for everyone.
You're using the active listening skills and sharing to grow a movement.
And crucially, using the ChatGPT networking for follow-up and inviting people.
That follow-up is the key to turning a connection into action, right?
Absolutely. The source material emphasizes connection, agreeing, and even disagreeing better.
And the Great Discovery of AI meets the future of you tagline.
That's the ultimate goal of the Great Discovery platform you mentioned.
It's positioned as the meeting point for this entire ecosystem.
So the Spotlight show and the courses are the practical application of this philosophy,
It encourages people to contribute their learning and expertise.
which grows the network and demonstrates that radical abundance mindset.
And it brings us right back to courageous hospitality as the foundation for growth.
The emphasis is on connecting heart to heart, even when disagreement arises.
That's vital when you're inviting diverse people to share courses and views.
Because mastering that fundamental human skill changes how we interact, even when spotlighting people.
We usually think AI is just for speed and efficiency in a silo.
But mastering empathy, mastering that courageous hospitality,
That you use AI differently to generate better, more inclusive invitations,
like asking it to draft a follow-up that prioritizes understanding over winning a pitch.
that shows deeper insight when inviting someone to the Great Discovery.
Instead of automating shallow interactions, you deepen the questions you ask the AI,
Can it actually help you craft communication that genuinely deepens a relationship?
because you brought the human heart and courage to the process first.
That's the core idea behind the Great Discovery course platform.
Does mastering the human side unlock a higher potential in the AI tool itself?
Definitely something to think about, especially with your insights about the fear of reaching out.
Food for thought indeed. We supply the courage and the heart behind the communication.
This whole framework is truly comprehensive, Mike.
Thanks for diving deep into this ecosystem with us today. It's been fascinating.
Listeners, I just want to share a personal point. I started with NBC TV and radio networks in New York when I was 22 years old, working on The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson. And I saw the format of one guest after the next, keeping it entertaining and fast paced. And podcastlistening.com presents the Great Discovery courses that come alive on every podcast of the Spotlight Tonight Show. And I'd like to invite you to reach out to me, Mike at podcastlistening.com, if you'd like to talk about being featured on the Spotlight Tonight Show. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Hayes.